The following is the narrated transcription of a journal found in a missing persons investigation in Brookville, Pennsylvania. No body has ever been found. The journal was found more than 30 miles away from the victim's last seen location. Michael O'Donoghue remains one of thousands of unsolved disappearances where no trace has ever been found. I haven't written in here in a while, but I was doing some spring cleaning and found this journal buried in my closet under some old magazines. I figured I would start writing in here again, seeing as I have nothing better to do with my time as of late. I am about to go out and hike in the woods just outside of town. There's a little trail that a lot of locals use, and I might try to find somewhere nice to sit down and practice my sketches. I left my house about an hour ago. I asked Lauren if she wanted to come with me, but she was busy with cleaning, so I decided to head out alone. This trail has been here as long as I can remember. I used to come out and explore here with my friends as a child. However, in the past 5 years or so, it has gotten a bit more trafficked, and you have to go much farther in to get the same feeling of isolation. I've been hiking around 45 minutes now, and I haven't seen another soul on this trail, which is odd considering it's a very sunny and pleasant Sunday afternoon. More intriguing than that, though, is the complete lack of nature noises. I haven't heard or seen a single animal all day. Even with the early snowmelt this year, the trail is a little worse for wear from winter, and the deeper I go, the harder it is to make out where the trail ends and the woods begin. I've been hiking for around an hour or so now. I think I'm going to climb to the top of the ridge near me and take a break. So I spent the last 20 minutes taking in the scenery and doing a few sketches when I started to hear a weird whistling noise coming from the woods at the base of the ridge. It is getting louder as I write this, so I'm going to go check it out. Okay, so when I went to check the base of the ridge, I didn't find a trace of anyone there except for a weird statue thing carved out of some oak just perched on a tree stump. It was not there when I passed this spot earlier. I'm going to get the hell out of these woods. I just can't shake the feeling of being watched. I don't know where I am. I was hiking back the way I came, but the trail just stopped. There was just trees and leaf litter where the trail should have continued on. I've spent the last hour searching for the trail, but I haven't found it. My watch says it's around 4 o'clock at this point, and the sun will be setting in a few hours. The sun is starting to set, and I haven't found anything. To make things worse, that whistling noise came back around an hour ago, and it seems to be following me. The sun set a little while ago, and I'm starting to panic a little bit. I found a little alcove in the side of a rock fall, and I tried starting a fire to no avail. Once morning comes, I will try to get to high ground, maybe climb a tree and see if I can't catch a glimpse of town. I keep trying to sleep, but that damn whistling has been going on for hours now. There is not a single noise in these woods other than the whistling, and it keeps circling my alcove. It sounds to be in the distance, maybe a few 100 feet away, but it is unsettling as hell. I don't know when I fell asleep last night, but I must have, because I woke this morning a little after sunrise, though I woke a few 100 yards or so outside of my little rock alcove without my watch or phone. I must have sleepwalked or something, but I haven't done that since I was a kid, and I don't know why I would have taken my watch off or my phone out of my pocket. I never have connection out here anyways, so it wouldn't have mattered, but I'm pretty shaken up and unnerved nonetheless. After a little while of searching, I haven't found a trace of my phone or watch, though I did find some weird scratch marks on the trees around where I woke up. There was 3 on each tree, and they were maybe as long as my forearm and about an inch wide apiece. I don't know any animals in this area that could have caused something like that, but I know I want to get far away from here. I have been hiking for about half a day now. I hiked north on the trail, so I have tried to go roughly south with the help of the sun, though I should have gotten back to town by now. The whistling has been faintly there all day, and it makes it very hard to focus on anything. The sun is getting low in the sky, and I still haven't seen any sign of civilization. I managed to find a creek earlier today, so I drank some water, but I'm starving. I hope there are people looking for me, because I don't know if I'm going to make it home on my own. I couldn't find good shelter, so I decided to sleep at the base of a pine tree. At least it will give me a little shelter. and the whistling is slowly becoming distorted, almost like a radio that is losing connection. I don't know what the hell is making that noise, but I don't want to meet it. It is the middle of the night and I'm having to use the moonlight to write this, but I keep hearing cries for help from the woods around me. I woke up to what sounded like a little girl crying for her mother in the distance, but it soon distorted into demonic laughter. Ever since, I have been hearing screams and crying coming from all around me. I don't dare leave my hiding place until sunrise. The sun is starting to rise and I didn't sleep all of last night. I kept seeing shadows in the trees just at the edge of the moonlight, and the screaming didn't stop. I gathered the nerve to continue hiking, and it looks to be around noon now, and the forest is eerily quiet. I have almost become accustomed to the ever-present nightmarish noises around me, and when they are gone it almost feels wrong. I found a ridge and I climbed a tree at the top of it, and when I looked around all I saw was treetops for as far as I could see, and even worse, I didn't recognize any of the terrain around me. I have been sitting on the top of this ridge for an hour or so having a panic attack until I decided to hike due south, and eventually I will have to reach civilization. I found another stream and I decided to make camp here for the night as I have no energy left to keep hiking. I have laid down in a small deer hole in the hopes it will give some cover from the horrors that are inevitably going to come tonight. That whistling started once the sun got low in the sky, but it was closer this time, almost as if it was only 50 feet away from me. I yelled for it to go away and let me die in peace in these woods, though it just continued to taunt me. I don't know what to do. I woke up this morning in a completely different part of the woods, laying in the middle of a ring of trees. I don't know where I am in comparison to before, and I don't know how I got here. When I woke up, after panicking for a while, I looked around and realized there were at least a dozen of the statues from the first day I was here in the trees around me, just watching me. I have bruises on my wrist and a few scrapes on my back, almost as if I was dragged by someone or something all the way here. I started hiking again shortly after my last entry, and I have been hiking all day. I need to find water and food. I'm starting to get weak from not eating for days, and I haven't found another creek yet today. I have realized I'm not going to make it out of these woods, so I only hope that they can find my body to give Lauren some closure. I'm going to keep writing in this journal until I can't anymore, so that if anyone finds me, they at least know what happened. I gave up on finding shelter. I am currently lying at the base of an oak tree waiting for night to come. The distorted whistling has been replaced by my wife's voice, though it sounds like it is coming from a speaker that is underwater. The moonlight is being dampened by clouds tonight, making this all the harder to write, but there are voices all around me. Some I recognize, some I don't, though Lauren's distorted voice is paramount among them. And I've been seeing the same tall shadow just at the edge of my sight all night, sitting there, staring at me with its dark black eyes. I tried not to sleep last night, though I eventually drifted off only to be greeted by nightmares unlike any I have ever experienced. It was like my own personal hell. I was forced to sit there and watch as the dark figure from the previous night taunted me by showing me my sleeping wife. Then the figure would appear over her and begin to choke her. I had to sit there and watch as she was killed over and over again until I woke at the base of the oak tree, surrounded by the statues as before. I am going to stay put and hope that the rescuers find me before night arrives. It's getting dark, and I am still here at this oak tree, condemned to suffer through another night of torture. The sun set and the figure appeared in front of me around 20 feet away. It was tall, immensely tall, and being so close I could see it clearly. It had grayish pale skin covered in sores and cuts that were festering and decayed. Its eye sockets were so dark they almost seemed to be made of the shadows that fell around me. It had long limbs that seemed to have nothing but skin and bone holding them together. It tilted its head and a smile appeared on its face, though its mouth stretched from ear to ear, and its gaping bloodied maw was filled with razor-sharp teeth. It let out a whistle, same as the ones I'd been hearing for the past few days. I was suddenly filled with a feeling of dread so intense it forced me into action. I ran as fast and as far as my legs could take me, the whole time being followed by the distorted crying of my wife. I finally reached the point where I could run no more, and I collapsed at the base of the hill, and I laid there, waiting for the thing's dagger-like nails to rip into me, though they never came. I have been here for what seems like an eternity, and the moon set hours ago, though the sun never came. I am left only with the starlight to write this. Everything around me seems altered, almost as if I have entered whatever realm that abomination occupies. I have found a lot of time to think, being stuck in this nightmarish existence I find myself in, and I realize that I have heard the whistling before in my childhood. It would appear outside my window for weeks on end every few months until around the age of 14. At first I didn't connect the two, though I'm sure this thing has followed me since then, waiting for the right moment to appear. It has been peeking its head out to stare at me from behind different trees for hours now, and I have accepted my fate. This thing will finally have what it wants. I will be taken to wherever this thing comes from and face a fate worse than death. I am afraid this will be my last entry. I hope this journal is found so my story may be told. To whoever finds this journal, tell my wife Lauren I love her, though do not tell her what happened to me, as this fate is one that none should have to endure. The creature is standing in the open now. It is going to take me soon. The stars are going dark and the thing's emaciated figure is bent over me. Don't try to find me or it will find you first. Please, to all those who read this, do not venture into the untamed places alone. We do not know what waits in the wilds untouched by man. There have been reports from many around the country for decades of a strange whistling always heard from a distance that follows the individual everywhere they go for large portions of their life. Many of those who hear this so-called whistling man go missing and are never seen again.